It is no secret if you have been here to Coastal Delaware that we have new construction going on everywhere. It seems like every road you turn down has a new construction community on it, at least one, potentially even more than one. And there's just a few different nuances to buying new construction versus buying a resale home that you need to be aware of if that's the route you're considering to go. And I just wanted to bring you my 5 tips to getting started in new construction. That way you can get started on the right foot and not make any mistakes in the process. Before we dive into the video, my name is Matt Lunden. I'm a real estate agent here in Coastal Delaware, and I put out content each and every week discussing what it's like to live, eat, breathe, sleep, and play right here in Coastal Delaware. If that's something that you would like to see some more of, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button down below and smash that notification bell next to it, just so you can stay in the loop each week when we go live with new content. And then if you are considering buying or selling here in Coastal Delaware, that's what we help you with every single day, and we'd love to help you. So all my information is down below in the description and here on the screen. Now let's get back to it. The first step in new construction is understanding that you can actually work with a real estate agent in buying that new construction, and it doesn't cost you anything extra, and the builder's not going to take any money off the price because you don't have an agent representing you. It's important to work with someone that has sold a number of new construction homes because the process is a little bit different with each builder, and you just want to make sure that you're going in there well represented, and you're working with an agent who's been through the process a number of different times, knows the questions to ask, and can get you a lot of the information prior to sitting down with a builder's agent to even decide if that's the process that you want to go through and if that builder even makes sense for you. Now, again, with your agent, it's not going to cost you anything extra. The builder has already included an agent's commission into their pricing. And if you decide that you want to go in there without an agent, that's more than fine, but just know that the builder's not taking that commission off of the price. You're still paying for it. It's just, they don't all of a sudden, hey, you didn't bring an agent in, so let's just knock their commission off the price. It just doesn't happen. The builder just ends up pocketing that additional cash. So in the end, you definitely want someone on your side that's been through the process before and knows the different nuances that you're dealing with when you're dealing with new construction, because it is a little bit different than buying a resale. And having someone in your corner fighting for you that's been through the process before is an absolute necessity. Going in blind to anything is just never a good idea. And if you work with an agent that's been through the process, again, they have your best interest in mind, whereas the seller's rep or the seller's agent, the builder's rep, has the builder's best intentions in mind. So they're going to negotiate on behalf of the builder. You're better to have someone on your side that is looking out for your best interest throughout the transaction, because sometimes in new construction, things can get a little wonky. The second thing to consider with new construction is that your timing kind of needs to be flexible and open. I understand that when you walk into a builder's office, the sales rep may say, hey, we'll be done in 6 months. That 6 months could quickly turn into 8 months, depending on what happens with the weather before they get under roof and a number of different factors. So if you're someone that has a hard and fast deadline that you need to be in by a certain day, just understand that you're going to limit your options with builders, because at that point you're likely going to only have the option of selecting a spec builder, which we'll get into in just a little bit. But it's going to limit your options. We really don't have many spec builders here in Coastal Delaware. But again, there's nothing wrong with buying a spec home. I've had plenty of clients buy them that way, and it's just a little bit faster way to get into a home. Another item to consider here in Coastal Delaware is we have a ton of different builder options, and each builder offers something a little bit different. Do they build spec homes? Do they build more custom homes? But I can tell you one thing that's in common with most of them is almost all new construction builders are building in HOA communities. So if you are someone that absolutely does not want to be in an HOA, new construction may not be the move for you, because it's going to be a lot more expensive to buy your own lot and then have a custom home builder build on that lot. Again, I've had clients do it. It's not the end of the world. It's just more expensive. So if you're someone that's on a budget, just understand that if you're buying your own lot and building a custom home on it, you're likely not getting it for the same price you would either a resale in the area or just a new construction home in an HOA community. Now, back to spec home versus more custom homes. The big difference there is going to be the timeline and the finishes that you get in those homes. There are builders that are building spec homes, and what that means is that they select all the options for you. So whether that's counters or cabinets or floors or wall colors, whatever it may be, anything that's in that home in a spec home, you don't get to choose. So DR Horton is a good example of this. They wait until their homes are at the drywall phase before they list them for sale. And that does one big thing, and that locks in their timeline to where when they put that home up for sale, they know that they're, 30 to 45 days likely to closing, and they can just be a lot more precise about when that's happening. And they can also pass a lot of the savings on to customers because a lot of the items they're ordering all at once and in bulk. So if they're ordering white cabinets, for instance, they're ordering 10,000 white cabinets for the whole neighborhood that they're putting in, and they can just reduce their exposure to expenses that way and pass that savings along to the client. Now, if we look at the other side and we go to a more custom home builder, Shell Brothers is a great example of this in our area. Shell Brothers, you go into their sales office, depending on what lots they have left, you say, okay, I want lot 53. Well, on lot 53, you can build one of 4 floor plans based on the size of the lot and what your neighbors have selected. Now you'll go through an actual design selection process where you can put in a fireplace or you can put in extra windows, you can change the location of some things, and then you go, like I said, to their design center, which is going to be where you pick out flooring and counters and cabinets and lights and all that different kind of stuff. The beauty of a custom home or more custom home is that you're going to get to select a lot more options, and the home is ultimately going to be a lot more custom to what you like. The downside there is you aren't really 100% sure what the price is going to be until you get through that design center appointment, which often comes 2 weeks to a month after you're already under contract. So you just understand that you could be walking into something thinking that it's going to cost one thing, but then once you decide what you really want in it and the counters you want and the floors you want and all that kind of stuff, you could have a lot more expensive home at that point, assuming that you've gone over and above and you've done a lot of the high finish upgrades or high quality upgrades, I should say. Those are the times when you can start to see the price difference. In a spec home, you just don't have that because the spec home is what it is. There is no design center. You're buying what the builder has set out. Just depending on what you're looking for can vary based on what builder that you are wanting to build with. Again, each builder has their own style and own finishes and that kind of stuff, what's included, what's not included. So back to point number one, it's just important to work with an agent that's sold a number of new construction homes and understands the process and how each builder varies. Number 4, and this is kind of a two-parter, but it's going to be locking your interest rates and the incentives from builders to use their lenders. So the first part being locking your interest rate. A lot of times in new construction, you can't lock your interest rate until you're 60 to 90 days from closing. That typically in that past has not been a big deal. However, with the way we've seen rates fluctuating recently, that has become a very expensive proposition for a lot of people. I've got clients that went under contract in February of 2022 and they close April of 2023. Their rate has doubled in that time span. So it can become a lot more expensive on a monthly basis, just depending on where rates go from here. If you sign now and rates go down, obviously, you're happy because you were comfortable with the payment before, and now you're even more comfortable that it's less expensive. But just understand that without being able to lock your rate right at signing, it can change what your monthly payment is, and it just makes it a little bit tougher to identify what that affordability number is. Just make sure you're including some padding in that number just in case interest rates do go up. Now to the other side and looking at builder incentives for using their lenders, I would always advise that you talk with your real estate agent and figure out the lender that they use most often and just have that lender give you a second opinion. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't hurt anything. At the very least, it'll be peace of mind that you're getting a good deal. Sometimes the lender will say, you know what, hey, this builder, obviously they're got something going on because they're giving you a better deal than I can give you. Or they may say, hey, that $10,000 incentive that they're giving you, they've just buried those fees somewhere throughout the rest of your fee sheet, and it would actually be more cost effective to use me. So just understand that a second opinion doesn't cost you anything, and that a lot of times those incentives that builders offer do get buried in other places just because they don't want to lose out on their profit, obviously, and they're trying to make it to where it seems like it's the best deal for the buyer ever. So just understand that, and getting a second opinion costs nothing. Number 5, and this is one that I try and relay to clients before we go on site and before we meet at a model home, but just understand that the model home is the home that they're using to sell the entire community. So this is what they're putting in front of the consumer to purchase in their community. That model home is likely going to be loaded with just about every option that they offer. And a lot of times it's going to be loaded with options they don't even offer in that community. So just go in there understanding that, because a lot of times, hey, we start at 500, but the model home is probably 900 because it's got everything in it. It's got every customization option that you can imagine. And it's just a more tricked out home, which there's nothing wrong with that. But just know that going in, that the model home is likely not what the base option looks like. And if you're wanting to build it like the model home, you're going to be paying a significantly higher price than what the starting price for the community is. Again, the starting price in the community is not what a finished home cost. It just means that if you did not make any changes or any upgrades to the base grade model and you found the lot without a lot premium, that's what it would cost. However, most often, when you're buying a more custom home option, it is going to cost significantly more than what that base price is. On average, we see about $150,000 to $200,000 over what the base price is on a more custom home. On a spec home, the number is the number. If it says the home is $350,000, the home is $350,000. There is no wiggle room off that price because they factor lot value, customization options, all that kind of stuff into the price and they give you, because they are selecting all of that ahead of time. If you are considering new construction communities and you've got some questions, we help people every single day with new construction, and we would love to help you. So all our information is going to be down below in the description and right here on the screen. And then we would love to become your go-to real estate resource of choice here in Coastal Delaware. So if you are considering a move to the area, do us a favor, hit the subscribe button down below and smash that notification bell next to it, just so you can stay in the loop each week when we go live discussing all things Coastal Delaware and Coastal Delaware real estate. Look forward to seeing you next time. Peace.